There's so many questions. I get to have breakfast with these guys after, so I'll get to ask them a lot of things. But Monday night, you're going to be performing and talking and presenting. When you do the Monday night thing at No Exit, do you uh, alternate reading?
Yes,
You do. Both of you
yes,
read.
yes. We both read.
And then do you also do, is there any sort of dramatic piece
Um,
of it? Because I know you are a theater person, Mahmood.
Mahmoud is dramatic by nature, so it doesn't take much to get him started.
Okay.
And reading Hafez is even more dramatic.
I would
and,
think so. Just reading it.
it's Hafez. It's Hafez. It's
There.
not.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So part of your presentation Monday night will be the reading, but you'll also do some just talking with folks about
Yes. What we
your path.
what we would like to do is we would like to introduce the path we have taken and why did we do this Hafez. I mean, there are tons of translations of Hafez, but why did we decide to bother the readers with another volume of
Well,
Hafez?
can you give me a short answer to that? Because that was one of my questions.
Yes,
Why did
you know,
you?
when we read Hafez together, we kept thinking and interpreting Hafez as our contemporary.
Hmm.
One of the questions that we kept coming across was that what would Hafez do if he was in the streets of Tehran today? And as such, interestingly enough, 5 years ago, we have a chapter in the introduction that talks that's entitled "Freedom Sounds Like Hafez."
Ah, yes.
So that the fact of looking at Hafez as a contemporary poet allows us to interpret Hafez in a way that is more communicatable to our not only Iranian audience of younger age, but also international audience.
Very good.
So let me just amplify a few things that Mahmoud was saying about this idea of freedom. I think it's a central point, and that is when we looked at Hafez, we needed to understand why he became so ubiquitous in Iran.
And he didn't until after his death.
Yes.
Right.
But his tradition permeates Iran in a particular way. And it's funny, at our reading at the Pomegranate Gallery in the Village a couple of nights ago, an Iranian American stood up and said, the influence of Hafez is this. It taught me a different way to think. It opened my mind to a different world than the other book that I found in the Quran. And that opening of the world is what we tried to investigate and talk about in our book, and what we mean by freedom sounds like Hafez. And it basically has to do with a couple of central ideas, and these are ideas that help to open or push the envelope as far as possible. This is a poet whose every image is almost about wine in a culture where wine is forbidden, where you can be arrested on the streets for wine. So the wine becomes a very important image that repeats over and over again because it's symbolic of a larger issue, and that is the idea of pushing the repression back, keeping people honest, responding to hypocrisy, and a whole series, a network of images that surround wine that say to Iranian people, this is someone who is trying to be free, much as we would understand Whitman trying to do that, or Dickinson, or someone in that tradition.
So let's not keep people starving. Can we read one of the Ghaffas out loud on the show? Because Monday night you would be able to meet these co-authors and hear them talk about poetry, hypocrisy, and changing the world. Freedom sounds like Hafez, and that's at the No Exit Cafe, right up the block here, 6970 North Glenwood Avenue. It's a perfect room for a poetry reading, and that's at Monday at 7 p.m. this coming Monday, July 27th. So let's hear some of Hafez, Your Lover's Beloved.
So we'll start with the title poem and how we came to this particular poem. Well, Your Lover's Beloved. involves three people in it. It's the beloved and the lover, as we find in many Arabic Persian poems. But there's also Hafez, so it starts like a chain of lovers. One lover loving the next lover, that lover loving someone else, that lover, and no one satisfied and everyone unhappy.
Everyone
so
is unrequited.
Unrequited indeed. But Hafez brings himself into the circle by saying, yes, but your lover's beloved is me, and you because he loves me, I connect everyone in a kind of in a circular chain, and so it's a little bit different than being completely unsatisfied, because the poem brings everyone together, and that's why we began with this as the title poem. Yeah, let's hope so.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll begin with one.
Please.
Okay, so we'll begin with this. Your lover's beloved. In wine's ruin, I glimpse the light of creation. How strange sensing such radiance in such wreckage. Don't swagger for me, holiest of pilgrims, because you see only the house, while I see the owner of the house. Don't swagger for me, holiest of pilgrims, because you see only the house, while I see the owner of the house. I long for the lover's hair, untied and falling free. Such a favor poses far-reaching implications. Maybe it's a mistake. The heart's burning, pouring tears, sighs all night, crying all night. I count these as the gifts of your kindness. Every moment my dream draws a different picture of you. To whom could I explain what I see on that canvas? From deer's musk gland to distilled perfume, no one has savored this scent I'm offered every morning in dawn's breeze. Friends, don't find fault with Hafez for flirting, because I recognize him as your lover's beloved.
Nicely done.
در خرابات مغان نور خدا میبینم. این عجب بین که چه نوری ز کجا میبینم. جلوه بر من مفروش ای ملک الحاج، که تو خانه میبینی و من خانه خدا میبینم. خواهم از لطف بتان نافه گشایی کردن، فکر دور است همانا که خطا میبینم. سوز دل، اشک روان، آه سحر، ناله شب، این همه از نظر لطف شما میبینم. هر دم از روی تو نقشی زندم راه خیال، با که گویم که در این پرده چه ها میبینم. کس ندیده است ز مشک ختن و نافه چین آنچه من هر سحر از باد صبا میبینم. دوستان عیب نظربازی حافظ مکنید. دوستان عیب نظربازی حافظ مکنید، که من او را ز محبان شما میبینم.
Thank you so much, Mahmood and William, two collaborators on a bilingual book of poems, Your Lover's Beloved, 51 ghazals by Hafez.